in the headlines on this Sunday night. An injured whale that died after being stranded near Tai O yesterday could have been hurt or sick, according to a marine conservationist. Eager Shenzhen residents have lauded the resumption of the multiple entry visa scheme, which is likely to boost the number of mainland visitors coming to Hong Kong. And Macau's chief executive designate unveils his new cabinet and pledges to work with Hong Kong in leveraging the advantages of the two SARs.
An injured whale stranded in waters of Tai O died in the early hours this morning. The heartbreaking news followed the activation of a contingency plan by the Agriculture, Fisheries and Conservation Department to rescue the mammal, but unfortunately failed. The whale, which experts assume to be a longman-beaked whale, measured about 5 to 6 meters in length, suffered from a bleeding wound that turned the water red, when found stranded less than a meter from the shore Saturday evening. Efforts of some residents trying to push it back into deeper waters were in vain. The incident was immediately reported to the AFCD, which deployed personnel and boats to escort the frail mammal into deep waters while urging the public to keep their distance. However, the marine animal eventually died after being sedated by veterinarians from Ocean Park for further examination at around midnight. Vets from the Fisheries Department, Ocean Park, will examine the carcass for the exact cause of death. The tragedy raises the total number of stranded whales, dolphins and porpoises in Hong Kong this year to almost 40. In fact, less than a year ago, a similar tragedy occurred off Sai Kung, where a Brutus whale died after being struck by a fast-moving vessel while attracting onlookers in boats. In response to these ongoing tragedies, AFCD suggested a legislative review last month to empower its director to designate certain areas of the city's waters as temporary restricted zones when marine mammals are sighted. Other proposals include giving legal status to an existing code of conduct for dolphin watching, as well as exploring a ban on the watching of non-resident cetaceans. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Flocks of Shenzhen residents lined up bright and early today at the public service centers to apply for multiple entry visas to Hong Kong on the first day of the resumption of the unlimited entry application. Among them were eager non-local Shenzhen citizens holding residence permits who were previously required to apply for a visa each time they travel to Hong Kong. Under the new measure, they can now enjoy the same privilege as local Shenzhen residents to gain unlimited access to the other half of the Twin Cities within a year, with each stay no longer than 7 days. This non-local said the new measure can step up efficiency at work since he can communicate more often with his clients in Hong Kong now, instead of relying on colleagues from Guangdong to shuttle back and forth. This man said he tried to get a new visa earlier so he could avoid the late crowd and go visit friends and relatives in Hong Kong immediately, expecting to stay 3 to 4 days. At the Lo Wu control point, the morning traffic was not much different from previous days. While the government expected an increase in mainland visitors and deployed more staff at all checkpoints to ensure smooth operation. Some visitors were not aware of the new measure but expressed interest in finding out more. This woman said crossing the border should be more convenient now and will research for more information about how the new multiple entry visa works. This man found the new arrangement so attractive that he is now planning to apply for the new visa as well as a residence card in Shenzhen. Meantime, Secretary for Transport and Logistics Lam Sai-hong inspected the Lok Ma Chau control point and the public transport interchange this morning. He mentioned that the traffic was smooth and had asked all transport operators to prepare backup vehicles and staff. The MTR will also adjust the service frequency of East Rail Line as needed. Evelyn Bai, Cable News. In light light of the resumption of multiple entry endorsements for Shenzheners to visit Hong Kong, shop owners near the border points and tourist hotspots have geared up to welcome an expected influx of new customers. In Shangshui's Shek Wu Hui, once the infamous center of parallel trading, local merchants had started stocking up on supplies to meet the anticipated demand of both new and local customers. This man said the more people there are, the more business they can do. They have already prepared extra stock and will decide whether to restock further based on pedestrian flow over the next 2 weeks. While there are two sides of the same coin, some residents here were worried that the market will become overcrowded. This woman was concerned that if more people are coming in, there will be boxes and trash everywhere, with luggage laying open on the ground. However, this woman said she was not worried about the crowds as the safety and cleanliness are both very good at the moment. In Tsim Sha Tsui, the shop manager said there were more customers in the afternoon, and she was surprised that the impact of the resumption of multiple entry permits emerged this soon. However, she is not too optimistic about a significant surge in spending because of the change in mainland travelers' buying patterns, as nowadays they tend to buy gold jewelry for self-use. For now, the multiple entry permits are limited to Shenzhen residents only. Many merchants expressed hope to extend the permits to other mainland cities, bringing more big spenders to Hong Kong. Evelyn Bai, Cable News. Financial Secretary Paul Chan highlighted that the resumption of multi-entry permits for Shenzhen residents visiting Hong Kong will provide significant support to local tourism, retail, and catering industries, as well as facilitate easier travel between the two cities. Writing on his weekly blog, Chen said the city's overall economic growth remained moderate this year, though local consumption and exports of services need to further improve. With a series of measures by the central government aiming to support the local tourism sector, along with the proactive innovation efforts from local businesses to enhance efficiency and service, Chen believes that new momentum will be injected into Hong Kong's economy. The finance chief also mentioned the recent operation of the three-runway system at the airport, projecting a 50% increase in handling capacity by 2035 to reach an annual handling capacity of 120 million passengers and 10 million tons of cargo. The city is actively expanding its aviation network, and efforts over the past few years go global and invite visitors have led to a significant increase in the number of domestic and international businesses operating in Hong Kong, Chen added.
Macau's chief executive designate, Sam Haofai, unveiled his new cabinet to the public today after receiving Beijing's approval yesterday. The cabinet featured 3 new faces among the 5 policy secretaries who will support the 6th-term administration starting December 20th. Continuing in their roles are Secretary for Administration and Justice, Andre Chen, and Secretary for Security, Wang Suk-chak. Meanwhile, Tai King-im, incumbent director of the Economic Services Bureau, will serve as Secretary for Economy and Finance. O Lam, current Vice President of the Municipal Affairs Bureau, has been appointed Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture. Raymond Tam, Director of the Environmental Protection Bureau, will become Secretary for Transport and Public Works. Meantime, outgoing Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture, Elsie Ao-yan, will transition to Commissioner of Audit. The Commission Against Corruption will also see a leadership change, with Deputy Commissioner Ao Yan-sun succeeding Chen Si-king. Chen has been nominated as Prosecutor General of the Public Prosecutions Office. Additionally, Adriana Ho, the current Director of the Gaming Inspection and Coordination Bureau, has been appointed Director General of Macau Customs, which means there will be a new gaming regulator director in the casino hub. Finally, Leu Manchun will remain Commissioner General of the Unitary Police Service. Sam described his team as embodying a spirit of upholding fundamental principles while breaking new ground, emphasizing their commitment to China and Macau. The incoming city leader also pledged to work with Hong Kong in leveraging the advantages of the two SARs to foster mutual development. Kun Tingyang, Cable News.
William Lai arrived in the U.S. state of Hawaii on the first stop of his visit to the South Pacific. After the two-day layover in the state capital, Honolulu, Lai will continue on his week-long trip to visit the Marshall Islands, Tuvalu, and Palau. He is also expected to transit through the U.S. territory of Guam. Beijing has condemned the actions by letting Lai make stopovers in U.S. territories and opposed all forms of official interaction between Taiwan and Washington. In what is seen as a major setback for the administration of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, rebel fighters have reignited fears of a civil war after claiming control over large parts of Syria's second-largest city, Aleppo. Most of the government forces have withdrawn from the city, and many have been captured by the rebels. Airstrikes by Syria's armed forces targeted rebel strongholds, but for now, most of the city is out of the government's control. Burning down posters of Assad, the rebels have vowed to continue their fight. Schools and government offices remain closed as most people stayed indoors. The latest unrest has forced thousands of people to take shelter in relief camps, with at least 10,000 families believed to have fled Aleppo. The offensive in Aleppo is the beginning, the rebels warned, as they are getting ready to move on to the capital, Damascus. Assad has vowed to defend Syria's stability and territorial integrity in the face of all terrorists and their backers. A bloody civil war which started in 2011 and lasted for nearly 5 years claimed more than 500,000 lives after the Assad government responded to pro-democracy protests with a brutal crackdown.